Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. It is Friday night, and when the three of us are here, we play Traveller, and that's what we're doing this evening. You may have noticed that I have a certain husky quality to my voice tonight. That is because I am diseased. I'm not the only one. Ben at the top is also diseased, so one of our special point options is to send us lozenges. It's not real lozenges, unfortunately, but it's to show that you're care and concern for us. There will be times when you see me coughing, but I'll have muted it, and it is what it is. And I hope that the way we speak this week will bring a certain je ne sais quoi and a new quality to our stream. Luckily, there is one of us who is keeping all the high energy and the health, albeit to himself, but he will see us through if needs be. So we're going to make sure that we can prepare periods where he can run on like a 20-minute soliloquy by himself if need be. The tale of the Varga warlords or something he can tell in the middle somewhere.
Definitely.
I'm looking forward
Yes,
to
I
it.
have pure confidence about
Actually.
Yeah, me too. Once
Good.
you've explained to me what a soliloquy is.
Oh, beautiful. Well, Varga ones are very different. You can just make it up and just say that's what it was.
Vulgar tradition. I
Good
like
old
it.
Varga tradition. They have a different one for each feast day, of course. So, yes, good evening, everyone. If it's your first time here, you're very, very welcome. We're going to run till about 1 o'clock this morning, which is just less than 2 hours away, UK time. We'll have a break in the middle for a short period of time. Then we'll have the toast to Grey Hill Bast, our mighty Grey Hill Bast, after the break. So please feel free to stay for as long or short as you want. We know there's lots of fun things to do out there in life. And we are honoured that you've dropped in to give us even a few minutes of your time. We do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Stay for as long or short as you want. If you're one of our regulars or semi-regulars, welcome back. We love you guys. Lots, of course, like we like our lurkers. We love our lurkers. We love our chatters. If you want to lurk, lurk. If you want to chat, get involved in chat. Talk with us. If you want, ignore us altogether and talk amongst yourselves. Things that you say may become canon. They might come into the story. We may interact with it. If you're here for the first time and you notice that some people pop in, we might almost stop and say hello to them. And that's just a thing we do on our channel. We break all the walls, and we still haven't learned how to rebuild them yet, unfortunately. So we just live in a wreckage of our own making most weeks.
Yeah, still got a ceiling, oddly, just no walls.
It's amazing how it happens. The three of us, with regards to streaming, have definitely got a ceiling. Right there.
Can we just fill the ceiling and turn it into a wall? And maybe put another ceiling in place of the old ceiling.
Stop adding ceilings
Just
to us.
rotate the whole house around.
Oh,
Or room.
We are the MC Escher of streams.
Put it on a
And
t-shirt.
this is about the ceiling of the content that you're going to get. So enjoy.
It's quite cultural, though. I appreciate that. Click on a red sun. Red sun will give you some things you can spend your Imperial credits on. There's a whole range of things. Expensive ones are generally things that will interact with the stream, much more so, like name an NPC, so you can affect canon. Give us a dice roll. Make someone regale us with a tale. You can make someone give a minute of wisdom. Work your way through. Any sort of pinky red ones make musical or sound stuff. I think the lizards are off tonight, thank goodness. I don't think I'm too ill for the lizards to be on. I'd have a heart attack.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think so. When I'm fully back, the lizards can come back. There's a whole range of things, but one thing is 1 credit and 1 credit only, always will be. I'll drink to that. So if we say something or do something, you can involve yourself, raise a glass, and we shall raise a glass or a mug, and we'll just have a brief moment together. I'll drink to that. Dear, what's going on there? It's a bit funny mark in my drink. Anyway, I think that's everything. I think it's just time to introduce ourselves and then start with the game tonight. So my name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner. It's strange that, considering I'm using this voice tonight, my backup voice, I'm playing 2 female characters that definitely do not sound like this voice. So it might be a bit of a stretch for you if you're just listening. Well, it'd be even more of a stretch if you're looking as well. But we'll do our best. I play Kara and Soraya. Kara is our artistic, trading, carousing, computers kind of character. Soraya is our jack of all trades, Han Solo-ish, awkward around people, drink of mimosas kind of character. She's been quiet the last few weeks, but you never know. She might make an entrance this week. Who knows? But someone who will definitely make an entrance tonight, as he's been all over the story for the last few weeks. He's truly been the star, as he always is. And he's that man right above me. He is my brother from another mother, the Floofmaster General and the housewife's favourite. He is the magnificent Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Oh, hey, Luke. I'm very good, thanks. I can't complain. At least in
A very British,
between
a
the
very
three of
British
us.
happiness.
Well, no, actually, I'm pretty good, but I don't want to rub it in too much. So I thought
Because
I'd play
Ewan
it down
wouldn't
a little bit.
complain if his genitalia were on fire. So it's.
Who have you been speaking to, Ben?
I can attest for it. So you're all right. Oh. Well, Mr. Happy, tell us about these two wonderful characters you're playing.
Yes, I shall. I shall tell you about them all in my perfectly reasonable, normal, regular voice. I play two characters. I play Stefan Miller, who is a human, sneaky space rogue, dexterous, probably the most dexterous amongst all of us.
He's got the most dexterous.
With a little bit of streetwise. Yeah. Very good friend to Soraya. And you can spend some channel points to make him steal something or try to steal something, which has led to some entertaining moments, I think. And at one point, definitely completely sideswerved the path that we're on. I also play Agnar Arnson, who is the less human, more furry, Varga former general in our party, with a little bit of medic and a little bit of military tactics, and generally the father figure for the group. I think that might be grandizing it a little bit too much, but that's what I'm going to go with for now.
He's more like the uncle that buys you a drink at a wedding.
Yeah. That's probably
don't
more.
tell your mum.
Yeah.
A wonderful summary of two wonderful characters, as you can see, dear viewers. That's why he's the star, quite frankly. What two wonderful men. The one person that does rival him as the star of the show is our referee. And he's a wonderful man. He is the smartest man in any room, who lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence. And you see that screen behind him? Even when we go to the pub with him, somehow he's sat with that screen behind him. It's always carried wonderfully by 6 heavily oiled, topless Eastern European men. We have to buy them pints as well when we're at the pub, which is quite off-putting. But they're doing a good job, and they give him that air of grandiosity. He is Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, very well. Very much looking forward to this, and hoping that all goes well for the party. Of course, it's very important that the party does well.
Well, thank you very much.
Despite the people steering them, they still seem to make it through all right.
Probably down to the NPC crewmates, probably.
Yeah.
That has happened once or twice. Yeah.
You're a generous man, very forgiving. Oh, man.
Right. So perhaps we should begin. Our heroes have successfully carried out another heist. Relying on Kara's hacking, Stefan's pickpocketing, Johnny's flirting, and Agnar's gambling all seem like solid calls. Of course, they also relied on Zoe's social skills, a woman who has only 2 facial expressions, armed and heavily armed. Anyway, it didn't go badly at all. And Halsanine, the GRT representative at Brytsee, seems to be none the wiser. So, with the jump logs from the transport ship B771 in their possession, it's time to find out if all their hard work was worthwhile. Do those logs actually reveal, hidden in their data, the location of the huge Caloran, an experimental warship that their contact, Otto Nieder, believes can be found in the area? So everyone set off back to the Baltic Star to find out what the logs actually reveal, and that is where we resume the story.
I'm glad you brought up, Ben, how well it went last time.
It did go
Mostly
quite
due
well,
to
I
the
thought.
fact that Luke and I couldn't roll anything below a, what, 7, did we say?
I had 1 6, but then I did 4 to the top of that.
1 6.
So
Yeah. So we're going to pay
Completely
for it this
incapable
week.
of rolling a bad roll all night.
it was sweet. It was nice. It was enjoyable to do that. Love it when a plan comes together.
So watch us fail to roll to locate the Baltic Star for the next 2 hours.
I
Where
can't
do we
get.
park again?
I can't get in. Do I push or push the door? Pull the door? I don't know.
Yes. So on entering the Baltic Star, you have to navigate the airlock. Can everybody make an athletics check with Dex? Sorry, no. Okay, you find yourselves back on the ship. You have the logs. Well, Kara has the logs actually. Agnar arrived a little bit after the others because he was finishing up his drink in the casino.
Yo, Agnar. I'm glad you're back. Did you win any money in there in the end for all your hard work?
No, not really. I mean, some,
You look
but
good
not
though.
much.
You look dashing.
Thanks.
Um,
Yeah.
I got the logs. I got the logs. I'm gonna bang them up. See what I can do. Should go to the bar. Get it done there. Cags is
We're
still
going
with
to do
me.
it there.
Cags is still with Nida, isn't he? Like, I'm sure you want to see how much of your whiskey's gone.
None of my whiskey's gone. My whiskey is stored in a very safe and secure location.
Are you sure? I did see the door to your cabin seemed to be slightly ajar when I walked past it earlier when I got back.
Oh, well, that's perfectly fine then.
Okay, that's good. So they're not in your cabin. That's interesting. Thank you. Okay. Tick
Yeah, to the
that
bar.
one off my list. To the bar. Come on.
Yes, the bar. As you rightly say, Otto Nida is drinking away, regaling Cags with a story, and Nida seems slightly disappointed that none of the female crew members are lingering around to hear it. But in the absence of them, he'll tell it to Cags anyway. And Cags seems to be drinking quite professionally in order to get through the experience, but he's managed so far not to, shout or hit anyone.
Oh, Agnar, look at him. Look at the pair of them. They could be like old friends. Do we really want to sit near them? I don't know. It'd be a shame to interrupt such. Hey guys, Agnar's back. Gives Agnar a little shove in the back.
He waves and walks in.
Cags turns around. Agnar, my good friend, come join us for a drink.
Cagsy, how many have you had?
I'm not absolutely certain, but it's more than I can easily count.
How high can you count? Just out of
Right now?
curiosity. Well, generally speaking, on a good day.
Well, I'm capable of better numbers generally than I am right now.
Okay. Anyway, that's not important. That's not important. Drinks. Kara?
Drinks.
Oh, I'm far too busy to have any alcohol right now. I'll just have a mimosa.
The classic soft drink.
Exactly, the soft drink champions. I've got Mr. Nida. I've got the data. I've got the log.
Turns around and blinks a couple of times. Well, this is wonderful news.
It is. I don't want it to get in the way of your wonderful time together. I was just gonna sit here sipping a nice a fruity number and try and see what I can find from it. Hopefully, we can find something that points to where the Kelleran may be.
Excellent. Excellent. May I look?
It's in. Give me, give me a few minutes to get it sort of loaded up and sort of get the correct documents open and things like that, and then for sure, I'll come and bring it over and sit down and you can click around in it for a bit.
Fantastic.
Right, he gets to click.
Oh,
Normally, Nida,
I-
she is very protective of that computer.
I,
Sometimes I'm allowed to look at it.
I'll give him the Soraya mouse, the one that's not properly connected. You know.
You're a very lucky man.
Okay. So, Kara, what in fact are you doing?
So we've got the B771's log. Now, if we
Yes.
remember correctly, the he had this because the B771 last time it came into system had that run in with it correctly. There was something.
That's correct.
Yeah. And so what we want to do is we want to run back to when it was last in system and find out the route it took in and out and see if anything pops up that was recorded at the time. So we're sort of looking for route directions and reports because that should point us in the right direction, hopefully.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, you have the logs in a readable form, so I'm not going to make you roll for the basics. What I will do, however, I think, is if I. All right. So the basic stuff is that the logs aren't just from the very last jump.
Mhm.
The B771, it turns out, does a regular transport route between 5 worlds. And Brightsee's in the middle of its run. So it goes from Centauri to Hishumaki to Brytsee to Hebretic and then Dillabru.
Got you.
So you've actually got both entry and departure from Brytsee in both directions for multiple journeys. Plus, obviously, other jumps from further away that aren't relevant to your investigation. So it won't take you that long to pull out all the Brytsee ones. So as for seeing if there's any kind of anomaly, anything you could, look at and identify as being of interest, that's going to be an astrogation check.
Astrogation?
It's funny you say that.
You can have that with education if you have actual astrogation as a career in your past record. Intellect if not.
Can I, realising what
Call
she's
up the
trying to do,
astrogator.
yes, can she yell for Soraya, please?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah. She sort of realises that there's just this world of numbers. She thought there was a bit of hacking, and then she starts seeing plot points and this, that, and she's like, what? Oh, no. So Soraya, who comes wandering in. She's glad to see people. She's been sat quite lonely for a while. She'd gone off to... It's quite boring being down in the hold, practicing with explosives.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be careful when there's fuel down there as well, of course. So she's quite stressed.
Yeah.
And she's liking the idea of a drink or two. When all the data is thrust into her face, of course, she's got some astrogation. I like to think that she recognises a bit more. Is there any way I could chain the two or do something like that? Use the skills, or can they work together with a... Because I could probably just roll with Soraya because she's got intellect and astrogation.
I think realistically, the actual computer hacking part's done. You're now just looking through astrogation numbers.
So Sarai could do this bit,
Um,
essentially.
but if Kara does have a skill that is relevant, if she's got
Philosophy.
navigation, perhaps, or
Kara has none of that. She's got well, not
no
as many
science skill that would be relevant.
philosophy.
The
Stop trying.
philosophy of science.
Philosophy of science, exactly. Philosophy.
I think that's a bit of a stretch for this one. It's not an
Yeah,
argument.
that's why I think that Soraya. That's why she called Soraya, because Soraya, this is more in her wheelhouse, as it were.
Okay.
She has got astrogation. She has got navigation. She's got enough intellect, so she's got the skills.
Okay.
So
What's her navigation skill?
it's a one navigation, one astrogation.
Okay. I would have given you a bonus if you'd had two, but at one, I think it's just going to be your one astrogation plus your intellect. Yeah, because Soraya's never actually been a professional astrogator, has she? She's been a scout.
Yeah, she's had to do it for herself,
Yeah.
but not like paid to do it for a company or
Yeah.
anything.
Okay. Then in that case, it's your. I suppose if she's been a scout, you can have your choice of education or intellect.
Yeah, definitely be
With
intellect then.
with with astrogation, please.
So I was quite excited to be allowed to be anywhere near the computer, and she starts prodding at the screen with her slightly grubby fingers, leaving slightly greasy marks on it as she's sort of trying to point at different bits of it. Grabs the plug-in mouse, immediately somehow gets grit in it somewhere. Runs it through a slightly spilt bit of mimosa. But that said, it is a 7 plus a 2 is a 9.
Okay. All right. You have, with that, been able to ascertain that the only consistent jump anomalies that you get are either on that they're at Brytsee and they are on the route to or from Hishumaki.
On the route.
So they are further out, but on the direction of the route, the jump route that you would take from Hishumaki to Brytsee.
Got yeah, that makes some sense. Let me just see if I can find my map. Where you say Hishimaki? Have we got? Is it on this map? No. Curses. How are you spelling Hishimaki?
Hishumaki.
Hishumaki.
Yep. The map on screen. It's if you look at where me is,
Yeah.
you can just see the edge of Nagasa next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hishumaki is 2 to the left of that.
Okay. Got you. So it's coming in almost from the west of Brytsee, almost.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit south, so to speak.
Yeah.
Of west. It's actually a little bit rimward. If you see what I mean.
I guess you.
Rather than south, but yes.
Very nice.
It is on the rimward side slightly, but it's mostly spinward.
Okay. Rimwood by Spinwood. Got you.
Sorry, Ben, quick question for you. And when you say 2 to the left, do you mean 2 squares like 4 columns?
I mean 2 columns. So
2 columns. Okay.
Yeah.
2
So
diagonals.
2 parsecs in traveller terms.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. And the B771 is capable of doing a 4 parsec jump. So its route is Centere, which is then 2 parsecs to Hishimaki, 4 to Brytsee, 3 to Hebretic, and then 3 to Dillabru. So this is actually the longest of its hops on its regular route. Drawing it across the screen.
that smeary one where the the pixels sort of slightly change color because of all the stuff on that one. Yeah. Bless you. Bless you.
He looks a little bit baffled. Only from the map. I've never been. Do you think we have to go to Hishimaki? Okay. He looks at it and says, how big is the search area based on the slight whisper in the anomalies of the jump? I mean, are we talking like a cubic kilometer or what? How far apart they were when they came in? Yeah. And she can probably also estimate how far away they'd be from a big mass to cause a bit of an anomaly. So, yeah. Yes, roughly. Yes, can you do another astrogation check for me with intellect, please?
Whilst this is going on, Agnar will wander over to the bar and look for the strongest, clearest alcohol that we have in bottle form, and bring it back over. Kara, I thought you might need this after the use, shall we say, of your beloved computer. No, not okay. Just don't leave the lid off. It evaporates quite quickly.
Cag says, it seems to evaporate much more quickly in front of me than most people. Okay. Back of an envelope calculation, about a light second or so. So about 300,000 kilometers on a side. A light second. How good are the scanners and sensors on this ship, do you think? Good enough to pick up a ship at that kind of range? That'll be avionics on the bridge. Okay. You can actually hear Rachel's feet running because she doesn't know it's not actually an emergency.
And to be fair, it's probably been a while.
So she hurls herself into the bridge with an enormous, what? What is it? Yes? What? She sort of walks over and points to a large console of controls. She says, them. It's those that you use. I Mhm. It was actually upgraded before we went out on the scientific mission as part of our responsibilities to scan worlds and systems. It's not bad quality. Um, it can scan a planet from orbit pretty well. You've got a decent chance of getting, pick up some beacons and what have you from further out. I mean, maybe. I mean, certainly, I would think 10,000 kilometers range would be reasonable for a reasonable sized target. Them, which is what points to the console.
Are you muted, Luke? Sorry.
I've been muted for ages. Oh dear. Yes, sorry. Yeah, sorry. So I was running to scan some to use the scanners with Rachel Access. If you didn't pick that up, I had a big cough and I muted myself because I'm so wonderful. So Can Soraya flicker out with the scanners and see if she can scan something? Just quickly try something into space somewhere. See if she can. I don't know. Just send a ping out somewhere. See if she can. Just trial run it. Is that how it can work?
Yeah. Okay. All right. How about astrogation plus intellect? This shouldn't be a hard check, to be honest.
Okay, cool. So another 7. I'm doing 6s and 7s. That's 9 in total.
Okay.
Nice.
You see the result come back with pretty good scanning of the surface of Brytsee.
Yep.
It's fairly detailed, and it also picks up a few satellites and other things in the area, but nothing you wouldn't expect to see.
Yep. Got you. Okay. Well, it's got what we've got. Thanks, Rachel. I hope I didn't overexcite you with my call to you.
Well, I needed a bit more cardio, to be fair.
Right, let's go out. Everyone's in the bar. If you're at a loss, I know you're always busy, but if you're at a loss, I know there's a group gathering in the bar. So maybe see you there in a bit.
Maybe I get the feeling we're going to be slipping our moorings fairly soon, so I won't get too relaxed.
I think Cags has already slipped his moorings.
That guy came aboard with his moorings slipped.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Thanks, Rachel.
And she shuffles out, looking a little bit more relaxed than she did when she came in.
Soraya turns and rushes back through at the same speed to the bridge. Passes by Kara, who's frantically wiping at her laptop and spilt juice on the desk. Agnar, Otto.
Yeah.
I've done a little quick bit of research. I reckon our scanners could probably ping 10,000 kilometers and give us a decent go, which ain't great. We might have to travel around a bit, maybe get lucky.
Wait, that's 10,000 kilometers. All we've got
Yeah.
to cover is one seconds, one
Yeah,
light
but
second.
yeah, but that's like 300,000 of the
I'll
things.
take note of what.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a needle in a haystack, but it's kind of
Well,
like.
why didn't you say that in the first place? Why did you say one? One light second sounds like nothing. Why would you use that unit of measurement for such a large space when we're searching with such a small area? It's really misleading.
Would you like me to? I'll use details you might understand. All right. So
Can we standardize units from now on, please,
yes.
on the Baltic
Okay.
Star?
So it's
Thanks.
not needle in a haystack. It's more sober guy at a Varga festival.
That's pretty difficult. But yeah, you're right. That's more achievable, certainly.
But we're not doing anything else here, and we might as well at least start the trip over. If more data can be dragged up, but we can do that on the move, right?
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not saying to give up by any stretch of the imagination. It's that expectation versus the reality. Sometimes you've got to manage people's expectations with the way you present your information. So it's my fault. It's my fault, not yours.
Oh, well,
sorry.
We all have our cross to bear.
Us, they don't really teach you much about the speed of light in the army, if I'm honest. Mostly because of all the paperwork. It takes forever.
Yes, paperwork. Leader nods, like somebody who's never seen any before, or if he has, he hadn't bothered to fill it in.
Dusty Tomes needed Dusty Tomes.
Yes. So this is the plan, is it? We basically head out to the middle of the area, and then we turn on the scanners and we try some scanning.
For now,
Start at one end, work to the other.
yeah, unless you got a better plan, Nita, it's
No.
You got anywhere better to be?
No. No, absolutely not. I guess we may have realized immediately why nobody spotted the ship before.
I have a question, Cara. Given the speed of the Baltic Star, as you are an expert astrogator, if we were to, sorry, Soraya, that's what I meant. That's definitely who I'm talking to.
Cara looked up in shock. What he said is you're an expert astrogator.
Sorry, Agnar puts his drink down. I think that's enough of that for now. Roughly how long is that going to take? If we really maximise our scanning potential.
It's a very, very good question. Rachel, need you.
Get back to me. We've got time. It's not urgent. As long as it's not the next 5 years of my life. Then
this time Rachel is actually in the room, so she leaps up and does. Yes. What?
How fast does the Baltic Star go? Now he's had upgrades and things like locally, not on jump.
It's not really. I mean, it's a spaceship. It keeps going faster as long as you keep accelerating.
That's true. But if we're going to scan an area of say 300,000 to 500,000 kilometers, we're not going to still be doing this when Agnar's gone grey, but he's already going grey. But are we going to do it before we're celebrating his 50th, or are we talking hours, days? To scan an area that size?
Well, we can cover 100,000 kilometers point to point in well under an hour, even assuming we then have to turn around and come back again.
Oh, so we could do this in an afternoon. Although you got to zigzag a little bit. A few days.
Hour and a half, maybe across and back.
Got to do it a few times though with the width.
Potentially depends how detailed you want your search to be. Imagine we take the risk and do a total of 100 in a grid of 10 by 10. We might miss something, but it'll cover the vast majority. So
and we should be able to plot the points we miss.
Yeah,
if we do miss, right?
If worst comes to worst, we can literally plot a second route that literally cuts in most of the gaps. Yeah. So once we're in the target zone, about 150 hours, probably.
Okay. It's not horrific. It's less than a week.
Yeah. And if we take some pilots and spell each other, then we could even take it a bit more gently, have some downtime, and people who aren't needed for the actual running of the scans or the flight control could have a week's rest.
It's not a bad call, is it? What do you reckon, Agnar? That sounds all right, doesn't it? It's about as good as we can get it, I think.
We got a week.
Yeah, have a casual week.
When are we due to set sail, ship off, never
Oh,
to be seen again into
about 4 weeks ago.
the vast expanse?
They're being very patient.
You don't actually have your orders yet from Deep Night, so there's no immediate panic.
They
They're
are. I
still
just
finishing
worry
up their
that
prep, aren't they?
they've updated our ship for us, and we should probably be available when they're when they're looking to set out with the many other ships on their vast expedition that I'm sure took lots of planning and organisation. And it would be a real shame if someone upset that because they were out looking for a long lost giant spaceship in a giant sector of, where are we? Brytsee.
A week on the search, quick 20 minutes on the Brytsee, have a quick look around, and then we're ready to go, aren't we?
Okay.
Good.
Okay, as long as we're contactable, I suppose. If they've got a major issue, they can get us.
If we take a bit
What's
too
life
long,
without a bit of whimsy?
if we take a bit too long, we'll send them a fruit basket or something and an apology.
No more fruit baskets for anyone ever. It's not acceptable. It's not. There's no need. It's fine. We'll send them something else.
Okay. That's fair enough. Maybe some buns. Okay. Well, this sounds like the best thing. Shall we? Why don't I go and have a word with our numero uno pilot, see if she's up for it. If not, I can at least get us started and get us over there. I've got those skills at least on one of these ships, and people can work out how much they want to chill.
Yeah, if you do get a week off to chill, can I suggest that you work on the way that you phrase "I've got those skills enough" on one of these ships to be a little bit more, confidence inspiring?
If you want confidence, get a better pilot. Oh, there's nothing big out there to hit, is there? Look at that big old space. There's no planets in that direction. We'll be all right.
Well, I don't know. I trust you. You know how to work the scanners, right? So
Yeah, I've got all the skills.
yeah.
It's not all the skills. I need to get better at my explosives, but apart from that, I've got all the skills.
Save that for when we're on a planet,
Yeah, exactly.
preferably. But yeah.
Well, why don't you guys have a look, have a chat, see if you want to get involved or chill out for the week, and I'll go and jimmy together a ragtag group of hard-working individuals, and me.
Okay, so for the purposes of this, once you are up and running, because the whole crew can help with getting the ship into the right area, you will need not literally full time, but you will need a pilot and a navigator or astrogator available throughout the week.
Yeah. Now we. Oh no!
And this will obviously be 24/7, basically.
We all know that we've got Cat can fly.
Cat can fly.
So
Sammy can navigate.
So Sammy can navigate. So if we need to swap shifts for it, which I'm guessing we do, then do we need to do that? Do we need at least a couple for each job? Then would you say?
Yeah. If you're going to be doing sort of 12 on, 12 off, or whatever, yes.
So Raya can pilot and astrogate. I don't know if we've got another astrogator or pilot.
No, unless you count. Zoe has some jack of all trades, but that's it.
So do we risk it with Soraya and Zoe as the other two, and always have? Yeah, because Sarai can do both. So always make sure that Zoe's on with Cat or someone like that, or some do a bit of Astro. Yeah, maybe sort of jumble it up a little bit and some work the team. Sammy's always only astrogator, Cat's only pilot, and Kara and Zoe do a bit of both, maybe. Sorry, Soraya and Zoe do a bit of both, depending on what's needed during downtime.
Yep. Okay.
Because neither of you has got any
Okay.
of those skills, have they, Ewan? Agnar,
No, not unless you want to strap a big balloon to the top of it, or chuck some wings on it. Flyer wings, that might work.
That would be nice.
Flyer airship? No, it's not really flying, is it? Very different skill. Less gravity. The same gravity?
Become very steampunk.
Different kinds of gravity.
Exactly. Quite exciting.
Yeah, no, sorry. Can't help you.
Well, it looks like they're the four then. They're the four that are going to be doing the heavy lifting.
Okay. So if we put Zoe can, well, theoretically she can pilot just as well as she can astrogate. She's just not particularly good at either. But it's probably safer to rely on her to astrogate. It's if she gets that wrong, you might miss the trace, but you shouldn't crash into anything.
Got you.
So she can either pair up with Soraya or Cat, whichever way you prefer.
In which case, then let's put her up with Cat. Go the strong and the weak, and then the two in the middle. Soraya, Sammy are the more middle people, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's go. Cat and Zoe, Soraya and Sammy. Double S.
Okay. So so Cat and Soraya will pilot.
Yeah.
And Zoe and Sammy can astrogate.
Wonderful.
Strong teams.
Yeah. Nobody has navigation, do they?
Soraya does.
But she's already in the club, so yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Recon. Stick my head out in a bat suit and see what I can see.
Agnar
Streetwise.
the pointer. He'll stand in the middle of the bridge and just sort of point. There.
There it is. I can see it.
And he's probably used to reconning with a scent a little bit as well, so it's probably not going to be at its full potential.
Not in a vacuum.
Space.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the whiff of hard vacuum.
Alas.
Yes, an acquired taste. Okay, all right. So, with this in plan, anybody who isn't Zoe, Sammy, Cat, and Soraya can have a think about what they want to do with their skill slot for the week.
Psionicology for Kara. Beautiful.
Psionicology.
I know. I'm so excited that
nice
she's
to
doing
say.
psionicology. I know.
It's just a nice word.
It's a lovely word.
I like it.
What are you two up to?
Agnar is going to, with a week, he'll complete Persuade.
Ooh.
And he will gain Persuade 1, which feels good because he does a lot of talking. And often tries to persuade people. But he's not very good at it.
No.
And Stefan, I believe with the blessing of Ben, is going to take his first week in lip reading.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes, as a linguistic.
Oh.
As a language.
Language.
Yes. But obviously only in languages that he knows, which is just the one.
Just standardized Terran, whatever it is.
Indeed.
Right. The only one of your crew who gets to start something new rather than just adding a week to something, is Gerg.
Ah, Gurgy baby.
Mm.
Who is going to begin. So tempted to rack up his medicine, but I think, knowing he's about to be an explorer, he's going to go for vac suit.
Yeah, probably a good idea, I'd imagine.
He doesn't have any vac suit, so
Oh my goodness.
so effectively he suffers a -3 on anything
Oh.
done without with
Oh my
with a
goodness.
vac suit on. So
That feels like something you don't want a -3 for, to be honest.
Definitely.
yeah. Oh, sorry, it's a -2 actually. A -2 on every skill check you make without the vac suit,
Oh,
if you're wearing one.
oi, oi, oi.
And since he's your medic, it might be handy for him to have vac suit skills so he can do medical work while wearing a vac suit.
Definitely. Good call. Good suggestion.
Yeah, everyone else. Rose is adding a week to survival. Johnny's adding a week to gun combat. So Sammy and Sil. And Zoe doesn't get to extend her her stealth training.
Sadly,
Okay.
sadly. Well, I suppose you better do some boring nerding.
All right. So what I'm going to suggest is we take our break now and we make the rolls for the skill checks when we get back.
Fantastic.
That's
Well,
exciting.
if that's not a reason to tempt people back, join us after the break where we make some rolls to see if we can recognise a ping in the expanse of space. It's going to be thrilling, edge of your seat stuff.
One ping only.
Exactly. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So go take 5 minutes. We'll be back soon for the toast in the second half of this evening. And let me just sort that out. I think that goes away. That comes on. That comes on. And we shut up. Hey everyone, we're back, and it's the start of the second half, which can only mean one thing. Ben.
It's time to recount another of the stories I was once told by our former ship's steward. I can't verify the accuracy of these stories. After all, he once told me he caught a fish this big. Once, he told me, he had been recruited as the bodyguard to an empress of a dark and troubled land. He told me he'd rather fallen for the empress and eventually had a daughter with her. About a decade after the girl's death, a plot unfolded and the empress was assassinated and the daughter abducted. He was accused of the murder, which seems harsh, since he should merely have been accused of incompetence, gross negligence, and dereliction of duty. Thrown in prison, he managed to escape and met a mentor figure who trained him in the use of a number of special powers, seemingly like a form of technical magic. Armed with this new capability, he stalked the night of the capital city, killing those who had plotted to murder the empress, rescuing his daughter, and, as he told it, unleashing swarms of man-eating rats on his enemies, a particularly wise plan given the plague that was currently ravaging the city. So, quickly, check your drink to make sure it contains no swarm of plague rats, And let's raise a glass to the late, great Greyhill Bast.
Late great Greyhill Bast.
To the late great Greyhill Bast.
A man who's certainly not dishonoured. Wonderful, Ben. What a tale he told. He had so many of those tales, Ben. He had so many other. He must have done so many things over the course of his life.
It was a life of character and excitement, I feel.
It was short but very
More
full.
tales than rats. It was.
Right. Okay. So we're going to need to roll some dice, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So we need rolls from Zoe and Sammy, which I can do, and Kat and Soraya. So Soraya, I need a piloting roll from you, please.
Mm-hmm.
With, in your case, education, I would think.
Oh, not my intellect from years of doing it.
Well, it's really more your education. It's your actual training. This, you're a scout.
She made it up as she went along. Oh, that's going to be tough. Okay, well, the first one is my standard number for tonight, which is a 7. This time it's just +1, so it is an 8.
Okay, fair enough. So nobody, as they go on or off shift, reports any actual problems, and it is towards the end of your week that Zoe, in fact, spots a little blip on the sensor, and this might be a little bit of a surprise because obviously Sammy is the expert. So she makes a careful note of where it is on the system and records the relevant thing, but doesn't raise the issue in case she's got it wrong or something like that. After all, she now knows where it is. And as the routes finish and you come to the end of your week of scanning, that turns out to be the only blip that you can find of any size on the sensors. So Zoe and Sammy sit down and sort of start poring over it with Soraya, and you work out exactly where it is, and you can get to it in about an hour.
Well, who's going to go and tell them that their relaxation time's over and we've got work to do? Zoe, how about you? You love giving bad news.
I do. It's like my favourite thing. And she simply leans over to the comm and presses the contact. Action stations, prepare to repel borders.
Oh,
There you go. That should get them up.
I'm picturing poor old Rachel Axis running up again. I'm worried.
And unsurprisingly, it is Rachel who makes it to the bridge first. What the hell happened? You made it then. Well done.
Agno is definitely making his way up to the bridge. Stefan has more than likely grabbed a bag from the side of his bed and started heading towards the stairs down to the exit that's near his room.
Yeah, typical Stefan.
As everyone assembles, looking, a bit frazzled. Some may have been asleep. Others were just resting and relaxing. They can be quickly brought up to speed.
Good news, everyone. We've found a blip. It's quite.
Otto looks very excited. It's a blip.
It was just one blip all week. We can't say it was the most thrilling week, but we double checked, we triple checked, and it is indeed a blip. And it's of
Okay.
some size that could represent the Kelleran. The bad news is it will take a while to get there. It will take a
No,
whole,
how long?
well, it'll take a whole hour to get there.
Agnar, is that a light hour? Because last time,
No. This is a normal hour.
a
This is
standardized Baltic Star hour.
yeah,
That's what I like.
the short cycle on your Flufomatic machine.
That is very good, putting it into a context that your target audience will understand.
Well,
Thank you.
that's what you have been telling me, and I was practicing a lot over the last week when I was off shift. The using standardized units that make more sense.
Thanks. It is appreciated.
We'll call it a floof. So an
Well,
hour's now floof cycle.
in that case, I've got a date with the Flufomatic machine.
Okay. Right. Cat looks around and says, so we're setting a course now?
There's nowhere to get brunch around this part of the system, so I suppose we might as well.
All right. She sits down and grabs the controls and says, I'll have an egg and mushroom toasty, please. Whoever's going to the machine. And settles in and starts steering towards the blip.
Stefan at this point pops his head in and just, did someone say brunch?
Yeah. So someone's making me a mushroom and egg toasty. In fact, looks like it's you.
What? Why? What?
Because you stuck your head in and said, did someone say brunch?
And his head sort of slumps.
Sarai
And then he
grabs
just goes around the room.
around his shoulder. Sarai grabs around his shoulder. Says, "Come on, you get the orders. I'll get the toasty machines turned on."
Get warmed up. Thanks. Thanks, Cal.
That's why we need two.
That is why we need to. And Stefan starts going around taking people's orders.
Fair enough. So it is, as you say, approximately an hour before the ship arrives and comes to a dead stop in the area of the blip. Now, immediately, the scanners are turned on and everyone pours over them. People who have no idea what they're looking for, you understand, are staring at these scanners and seeing if they can spot a blip of any kind. And it isn't very long before a careful examination does indeed reveal a blip, which is 1,000 kilometers away or so, easy enough to steer straight towards in the Baltic Star. And Kat begins quite gently accelerating in that direction, not knowing exactly what she's getting into or if there's debris or junk around there. She doesn't want to crash into anything. So she's checking the scanners carefully as she flies, and eventually brings the ship effectively to a stop, very, very close to the blip. And she looks out of the viewports on the bridge and punches a couple of controls, which effectively magnify the image that the cameras are seeing. And what you can see directly on the screens, not just on the bridge, but she's duplicated the screens down on the sort of bar research deck at the front of the ship, is not necessarily exactly what was expected. The Kelleran was, by all accounts, an absolutely huge ship, more than 500,000 tons in size. But it doesn't appear that the thing in front is anywhere near that kind of scale. It's, visually speaking, roughly triangular in shape, but no matter how you sort of squint at it, you can't make it look like an absolutely even triangle. It looks a bit like a sort of 3-4-5 right angle triangle in cross section, and seems to form not so much a wedge as a kind of a rapidly expanding leading edge on the 4 side of the 3-4-5, which then flattens out a bit, making it a sort of fat looking triangular section. And you are looking at it um, from the sort of corner, so you can see how rapidly it expands. Um, it looks bigger than a sort of traditional wedge-shaped ship like a Scout Courier, but probably only 2 or 3 times the size, that kind of scale. And it doesn't look symmetrical, as I say.
Well, that's not what we're expecting.
Nida looks at it and says, not the right shape. Could it have shrunk?
Bits have been torn off it potentially. Was it built around some sort of core, an important core?
The
Is it
design
transmitting?
of the engine area was secret. I don't know about that, but the rest of it, I think, was just a large ship.
Is it transmitting? Was that Agno?
Yeah, sorry, that was Agna. I didn't mean to butt in.
Ah.
Very good question. I was interested in the core.
Cat, is it transmitting, Cat?
She does a quick electronics check. Doesn't look like it. No, nothing at all.
Do we hail them? I'm unclear on procedure here, but that seems like a good way to find out potentially some information, and if not, then nothing's lost.
We can't. I suppose. Yes. Guys, while we've got a whole room here, has anyone seen anything like this before in any setting?
There's a lot of slightly blank looks. Haven't seen a ship that looks like that before. Nope, nothing like that.
Ben, I don't suppose Stefan would have done, having partially trained in the Naval University.
It would be a tough check, but it's not impossible. Give me. I think it would probably have to be a straight education check.
Ooh.
So whatever your
Yes.
He's not an educated man. That's why he dropped out.
He is not. That is true.
um,
But, you know, could happen.
I'm just trying to think what skill he does. He have any skills relating to ships at all?
He stole one.
Not pilots. Yeah, he did steal one. He's he's got flyer. He's got 0 mechanic, 0 recon. I'm really scraping the barrel here. I don't think there's going to be anything.
Okay, then
I'm honest.
just take a 2d6 plus your education. Let's see.
You mean minus then? You mean
Minus your education.
Plus my negative education, yes. Oh, well, that would be a 4 minus 1.
Oh.
So a 3.
A 3. Okay. I'm
Could be
afraid
worse.
not. No.
Thanks,
He
Stats.
he hasn't seen anything that looks like that.
No, not me. I mean, it's a ship. It's probably abandoned though, right? I mean, either the people on it, it's either abandoned and there's no one on it, or there's people on it and they're in trouble.
Yes, we've come a
So
long
even
way.
if it's not the ship we're after, it's still a find.
You just want to make use of those big salvage stickers you're working on all week, haven't you? You claimed salvage stickers.
Property of Stefan Miller.
Yeah.
Property of the Baltic Star.
You were taking a lot of
If
pride in
found,
those.
Please contact Baltic Star.
Yes, if found,
Care
please return to.
of. Yeah.
We're a long way out, and it feels bad to waste a week without at least having a look around the thing we did find out here. And it's not what was expected. Mr. Neder, I'm sorry if this isn't exactly what you're expecting, but still, there's an adventure to be had here, no doubt.
Well,
it's a mystery.
Yes. Well, as you say, it's probably worth taking a look.
Stefan chimes in just quickly. Is it possible that this is part of the Kelloan? Or is it a completely different shape? Are we looking at? This is that, and this Kelloan was a spherical thing or something. Because
it's possible. It could be the corner of the forward avionics area, or possibly the forward. Maybe the starboard hangar. It's hard to tell without the rest of the ship, you see.
Would the avionics make sense? Didn't you mention it had some new kind of, at the time, I suppose, new kind of jump?
It had a new engine system, but...
so maybe not avionics.
I must confess, on a ship so large, it's possible. I can't rule out the possibility that it could be a piece torn off.
Well,
yeah, and ships that big, they're built to seal, aren't they? Sorry.
That's right. I'm agreeing with you. They are. And there's only one way to find out if it is part of the Kelloran. After all. You strike me as a man that's good in a vac suit, Mr. Neder.
Oh, I could tell you stories. I know my way around a vac suit.
They are vast.
So, shall we get a small team together and see what we can find there? It might actually be a real key to the overall mystery.
Okay. You're right. Even if this isn't it, maybe it's a clue.
There might be some plunder.
I don't see a docking hatch, at least not from this side.
Kat, do you want to start a slow lap around? Or do you want to stay here and we'll get the ship's boat out? That way.
Whichever you prefer. I mean, we'd probably be more agile to maneuver the ship's boat around it, and I'd feel more comfortable getting close, if you know what I mean.
It might be nice to have a little bit of a distance look, though, first, just in case it's got Kelloan printed along the other side of it or something.
All right.
Or not. I mean, I don't mind. I'm just.
We've got better
It's-
sensors here, so yeah, let's do a full lap and a scan from here
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Lap on the Baltic Star, then get closer once we've got a
Okay.
good idea.
All right. She is going to make a pilot check, which is not going to be a problem. She navigates. It wasn't that great a roll, but she's got some skills. She
Ooh,
rolled a
skills.
7. Let's put it that way. So when you add her bonuses, it's an
Yeah,
easy
it's
one.
Good times, yeah.
She takes it around, and as she does, you can see the sort of cameras and the view screens update with the information of what you can see. So as you travel around, at first you're looking at the outside of this triangle that you're kind of looking at from one corner, if you know what I mean. Sort of flat triangular shape, like a packaged sandwich, and you're looking from the corner that has all the crust on it. And as you begin to navigate around, it does reveal, as far as you can tell, no markings with regard to its original ownership designation. Doesn't seem to be any number painted on it or name painted on it or anything like that. There also don't appear to be any viewport windows, no hatches or access panels whatsoever. When you get around to the point where you can start to see the far side, like the cut side of a triangular sandwich, as it turns and opens, you can see that that side is not seemingly solid. It looks as if this has, in fact, been cut off somehow a larger vessel, because that side of the triangle is completely without hull over it. It looks as if it's just open to space.
As we've been doing this lap, Agnar's made his way over to Soraya. You've seen a fair few ships and things in your time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Flown a few, crashed a few.
So I've heard. Could you identify the origins of this ship, do you think, from its design, its architecture, if you will? I'm not supposing it will help, but it might be. It might narrow down the field.
Origins, you say? I guess I've been to many different sectors. Are you suggesting
I mean,
whether it could be Valani or Varga or Aslan or such, like you mean?
yeah. So it looks, as though it originated where the Calawan is meant to have originated from.
I couldn't have a poke. Bear with me a second. Let me just squint a bit closer. Make my brain work. Has she got any chance of doing that at all, Ben?
If you, so you're zooming in the cameras and doing a sort of an examination of how it looks and everything.
Yeah, and trying to rack my brain to see if any of the angles or the looks might have reminded me of when I went through
Looking for
Varga
clues,
space or something.
basically.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
bits and pieces in the rooms, or
Yeah.
anything that's particularly telling of a.
Can you make an investigate check for me?
Oh.
It doesn't have to be that if you think of something more sensible.
Sensible being.
And given you know what you're looking for, you can have a boon with it as well.
Okay. If it's anything to do with power and things, I've got engineering power. If it's that part of the ship, can I cancel out the fact if it's to do with the power part of a ship or not by making a roll on that alone?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you definitely can.
Okay. Can I do that with intellect or education?
Yeah, your choice, and you can have a boon with this one
Thank
because you're looking for specific things.
I'll go with what my skills are before working down. Okay, that's good because I got rid of a 1 and it's given me an 11 plus 2 is 13.
Okay. With that check, it becomes clear to you that you are looking into something that is not directly related to the major power systems on the ship. But as you are zooming in and looking at things, the first thing you realize quite quickly is that you recognize things on the inside of some of the compartments.
Mm-hmm.
There are signs painted on the walls indicating what the compartment number is and giving instructions for things like damage control and emergency procedures. And those are very recognizably imperial in design. But there are other things with that role. There are other things that are also sort of obvious as you start to zoom in. The cut through the ship, exposing it to space, effectively cutting straight through the hull, has cut not only through the hull, but in an absolutely straight seeming line, has cut through everything in the compartments. There are tables cut in half. There are chairs cut in half in some of the compartments. And they, to your experienced spacefarer's eye, some of these tables and chairs are not intrinsically things you'd expect to still be in there if the place was open to space, if you see what I mean.
Mm.
There's stuff in there you would have expect to have been just sucked out into the vacuum of space
Yeah.
very, very quickly. If it had been sliced open that way.
It's Agnar, it's like something's just sliced it perfectly off. I like,
I can see that.
but look, she'll sort of zoom in on one of those sort of chairs, tables, rooms. Look, it's not just gone through the hole. It's literally gone through tables, just like space battles, things like that. It'll blow chunks, but it doesn't like just perfectly follow that line. Look, and a lot of these chairs and tables and that, they're not bolted down to a way they'd stay there. This whole side's open to the vacuum. That should have all floated off. There's something that doesn't add up in there. I don't know if there's gravity in there or there's something holding it in or what it is, but that's not right. I've been past, I've flown through old battlefields, with ships floating around. You must have seen
I was
some in your
worried.
time, but no, this isn't right. It feels
Not
weird.
nothing like this. No. Certainly nothing. Listen, if I was to have witnessed something like this, I don't think I'd be stood here with you today. I thought of a really interesting story was going to come out of the when you said I've seen. Then story for a later date, obviously. But that is interesting. That is interesting. I am familiar with vacuums, obviously.
Yeah.
Though not having seen one up close and personal.
It's how you keep mimosas cold.
And fish stored properly in your hull.
Yeah, absolutely.
I miss the fish.
How was your cheesy ball and pepperoni toasty, by the way? It sounds disgusting, but it looked quite nice.
It was a bit light on the cheesy balls in the end. We're getting a bit low, and Stefan did say that I need to start holding back a little bit on them, saving some for another day. rationing.
Rationing. Yes, I'm familiar with that.
So
Yeah.
but it means I'll have one for the return trip, I suppose. So I can't complain. How do you feel, General, about getting in for a closer look? Getting the older boat up close, really poking
Well, it's
around.
interesting. It's interesting. I was thinking about it. There's a lot of unknowns, and the general in me would not be a fan of the unknowns, but I'm retired.
That's the spirit.
And it is intriguing.
I'd like to think I'm a woman that errs on the cautious. And although it looks deserted, time with you guys has made me realise that there's probably 1,000 spiders on there, at least 6 moamps, and a megalodon
That's
in
a
there
good idea.
somewhere, you know.
How much
Just
time
nagging
have we
my
got? Because we could wait for the moamps to hatch, release them on the ship, and then, regardless of what's on there, all we've got to deal with is 3 small moamps, which we've dealt with before.
That is true.
And it's a known.
It's a very much a military style. You've gone for the ancient approach of just taking the time and starving them out.
The enemy of my very hungry pet killer lizardoid creature is my friend. Something like that.
I wish I was as patient as you, dear Ragnar. Are you not fascinated to get in and have a poke around?
We've got to at least take a look, right? I mean, it could be the Kelleran.
And that's it. That's what we're here
Well,
for.
it's definitely a ship, and it's definitely been lost by the looks of it.
Let's suit up a posse, jump in the boat, and have a poke around.
All right. Who is going on this trip to the ship?
That is a very good question, Ben.
Oh, I guess Mr. Needer needs to go. I'm assuming all 4 of ours are going because that's always a fun thing to do.
Presumably.
Agnar does steps back and says, "Right, I'm looking for volunteers. Any of you who are willing and able, take 1 step forward."
Zoe takes 1 step forward, just gently shoving Stefan alongside her forward as well.
That's very accurate.
2 here.
Soraya tries to catch an eye with either Rachel or Kron. Says, we could really do with an engineer in there, you know. Because there's going to be some questions in there that only an engineer can answer.
Kron nods sagely and says, "It's my turn to look after the cat." and Rachel shrugs and goes, "Fair enough."
Yeah.
Rachel, if you want, I'm sure we could get Kara to, either vlog it or send some pictures back if you just want to analyse them from here. There's no need to.
So at the moment we have a team of 7. Is that enough for you?
And I wonder if the Baltic Star can look after itself if we get Cat to sit on the boat.
Yeah.
Because it might be good for getaway or something.
But, I mean, unless someone decides to move her, she doesn't need a pilot.
So we've got Rachel, Stefan, Soraya, Kara, Zoe, Rachel, Kat, and Nida.
Otto?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the 4 of you plus Otto, Zoe, Rachel, and Kat.
With the plan that Kat would stay on the boat. Yeah.
Okay. Then, with that in mind, the 7 of you, plus Cat, all climb into actual vac suits to make sure, in case something goes wrong, you're not completely without protection from the elements. I assume
Just
Agnar won't need one, will he?
yeah, just to be clear, Ben, Agnar will be wearing his
Armored suit. Yeah.
combat armor, which
Yep.
has inbuilt. Yeah, thanks.
Excellent stuff. And with a few fond farewells, they wave goodbye to those left on the Baltic Star, and with a little hiss and a whine, the boat departs the Baltic Star hangar, and turns, and approaches the triangular piece of ship in front of it. And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Oh, we nearly made it. We're so close.
So close.
I can practically taste the Calaran.
If that's indeed the Kelleran. Oh,
If
Maybe it has cheesy balls.
let's hope so. We are quite low, so
On
very
board,
helpful.
you find nothing but cupboard after cupboard of cheesy balls.
A blessing from the gods.
Soraya would be so happy.
Oh, the best trip we'd have
So
ever had.
happy.
What an outing. Oh, thank you, Ben. It's all been set up wonderfully.
Thank you, guys. Always fun.
Very much so. Very much so.
Always.
What were the things in Star Trek
The
that
tribbles.
were in the
Tribbles?
tribbles, but they're not tribbles. They're cheesy balls, but they act like tribbles. That would be
I
good.
think if you actually found cheesy balls that multiplied freely,
Oh, yes.
Soraya would just be in absolute heaven.
Yeah,
Mm,
that'd be good
I
enough for
agree.
me, I tell you.
It's a good concept, though. I like it. My next sci-fi spoof, funny, not serious space adventure. Got it.
I tell you, I'm seriously considering now getting some Stilton out of the fridge and having it with some crackers.
Ah, yes. Good man. Feels right. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for
Yes,
watching us, whether
indeed.
live or on VOD. Thank you so much. And we will be back tomorrow night at about the same time, about 11 o'clock UK time.
Yes, let's do some 1930s gentlemen adventurers, I think. We'll invite Greek John back, our Adonis. And
a little bit of Indiana Holmes for us.
Yeah, let's do that.
Indeed.
I think that's the way to go. That would be brilliant. And it'd be lovely to chat with John again, because we haven't seen him in days.
Exactly. Far too long.
It has been.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. We will let
you.
Luke get some sleep because he's barely awake.
I am poorly.
Usually. And tonight is worse.
I know. I've hardly drunk any alcohol at all. It's terrible. So, see you guys
There's your
tomorrow.
mistake.
I know. I could have powered through with some actual booze inside of me.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night,
and we'll catch you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Good night.